为了给我弟弟买
As soon as I walked out of the courthouse with the divorce papers in my hand, reality hit me. I made the worst decision of my life. I should have thought it through, but no. I chose to listen to my friend, who talked as if she knew everything about relationships. And now? Now I'm here alone, realizing that I threw away years of building a life together over a stupid fight. In the heat of the moment, it felt like the right decision. But now? Who's going to give me back everything I lost?
In Hefei, Anhui, an unusual scene caught people's attention. A woman walked out of the civil registry office and began slapping herself, crying desperately while sobbing. Why was I so stupid? The sight was raw, chaotic, almost theatrical. Passers-by stopped, phones came out, and within hours, the video was all over Chinese social media. But this wasn't just a random meltdown. Her despair had a clear, gut-wrenching reason. She had followed her best friend's advice and gone through with the divorce. But the truth? She never really wanted to separate. And now it was too late to turn back. This case ignited heated debates online about how easily people let external influences dictate major life decisions. But let's cut through the noise. Was it really her friend's fault? Or was she just scrambling for an excuse to dodge responsibility for her own reckless actions? Rewind to the Chinese New Year, just weeks before this meltdown. Registry offices across the country were swamped, not with weddings, but with divorces. A massive wave hit, fueled by a cultural shift that's been brewing for years. Social media was overflowing with videos of women celebrating their freedom, popping champagne, toasting to their so-called liberation, as if they'd just escaped a life sentence. Scroll through Douyin or Weibo, and you'd see it, glamorous posts, bold captions, women declaring divorce as the ultimate act of empowerment. And she got sucked right into the hype. Easily influenced, manipulable, spineless, she convinced herself that leaving her marriage would unlock the same rush of joy she saw online. After all, wasn't everyone saying divorce was the fast track to a better, happier life? The internet sold it like a dream. Ditch the baggage, start fresh, live your truth. But reality didn't wait long to slap her back, hard. The moment she stepped out of that registry office, papers signed, she saw her ex-husband walking away. Not a glance, not a hesitation, just gone. And something inside her shattered. The decision that felt so bold, so freeing just minutes earlier, suddenly loomed like the biggest mistake of her life. She didn't ease into regret. It hit her like a freight train, immediate, violent, overwhelming. Because deep down, she knew the ugly truth. She hadn't divorced because her marriage was some unbearable hell. No, she'd done it because she was emotionally impulsive, a puppet to outside voices instead of her own damn clarity. The internet painted divorce as self-love, a shiny badge of independence. But what happens when the thrill fades, the likes stop rolling in, and you're left staring at the wreckage of a life you actually cared about? Let's talk about her best friend, the supposed villain in this mess. Word is, she was the one whispering in her ear, feeding her lines like, "You deserve better. Why settle for less?" Or "Stop wasting your time with a guy who doesn't make you happy 24/7. Classic enabler nonsense. People love pointing fingers, blame the friend, call her toxic, case closed. But let's be brutally honest. No one drags a grown adult into a registry office and forces them to sign divorce papers. That pen was in her hand. If her marriage meant anything to her, anything at all, why did she let herself be swayed so easily? Was her spine made of jelly? Did she ever stop to think for herself, or was she just addicted to being told what to feel? Sure, the marriage wasn't a fairy tale. Show me one that is. There were fights, loud ones probably. Frustrations piled up, resentment simmered, maybe even a few nights sleeping on opposite sides of the bed. But were those issues really enough to torch everything? Or was she just too lazy, too entitled, to roll up her sleeves and work through the mess? Because here's the unfiltered truth. Marriage isn't a rom-com. It's not endless butterflies and perfect harmony. It takes grit, patience, and sometimes the guts to stay even when it's tough. She didn't have that. She'd gotten cozy playing the victim, always waiting for him to grovel, to fix her moods, to chase her tantrums. In the past, maybe he did, swallowed his pride, begged her back. But this time, he'd had enough. He saw the manipulation for what it was. And when she pulled the trigger, expecting him to crawl after her like always, he didn't. He walked away calm, cold, done. So there she was, outside the registry office, completely alone, slapping herself in a wild mix of rage and disbelief. Her hands hitting her face weren't just about regret. They were punishment, a scream at her own stupidity. She'd thrown away a life she secretly wanted, all because she let fleeting frustration and a chorus of outside voices drown out her own judgment. And for what? A few days of feeling empowered. A handful of likes on a post? She gambled years of a shared history on a trend, and she lost big time. This isn't just her story, though. It's a wake-up call. Marriage isn't a toy you toss when it stops being fun. Divorce isn't some trendy TikTok challenge to flex your independence. It's not glamorous, no matter how many champagne toasts you see online. It's a brutal, life-altering choice that rips through families, futures, and your own damn soul if you're not careful. And the worst mistake, the absolute dumbest, is treating it like a whim, only to wake up one day and realize you trashed something irreplaceable. Her friend might have lit the match, but she's the one who poured the gasoline. And that's the real kicker. How many people are doing the exact same thing right now? How many are swallowing the hype, chasing the divorce glow-up, blind to what they're about to lose? How many are walking out of registry offices, smug and liberated, only to end up like her, alone, broken, smacking themselves in the face because they didn't think it through? This isn't about blaming women or men. It's about facing facts. Emotions lie. Trends fade. And if you ditch a marriage that still has a pulse just because the internet says it's cool, don't be shocked when you're the one crying in the street, asking, "Why was I so stupid?"
Recently, during the Chinese New Year, there was a wave of divorces and the courthouses were packed. The internet was flooded with videos of women celebrating their divorces, saying they were finally free and happier than ever. And me? Being highly impressionable and easily influenced, I got caught up in the trend. I wasn't happy in my relationship, and after seeing all those women talking about how liberating it was to leave their marriages, I thought, maybe this is the solution. So I did it. I signed the papers and walked out of that courthouse thinking I had taken control of my life. But the moment I stepped outside and saw my now ex-husband walking away without even looking back, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I had just made the worst decision of my life. I stood there, frozen, watching the man I once loved disappear from my life for good. And all I could think was, what have I done? The truth is, our marriage wasn't perfect, but whose is? We had our fights, but they were mostly over small, stupid things. Things that could have been worked out if I had just put in a little effort instead of running to my best friend to complain every time we argued. And she? She always had the same response. You deserve better. Why waste your life with a man like that? Just leave him already. And like a fool, I listened. I convinced myself that divorce was the best way out. That if so many women were doing it and feeling happier, then it must be the right choice for me too. But standing there, feeling that crushing emptiness, I realized something no one talks about. The internet only shows the happy endings. No one posts about the lonely nights, the regret, or the feeling of loss that comes when you destroy something you spent years building. The worst part? If a man complains about his marriage to his friends, they usually tell him to work things out. But with women, it's different. Many friends push for divorce without hesitation, sometimes even fueling the anger, bad-mouthing the husband, making you feel like you deserve so much more, without ever stopping to consider if what you really need is to fight for what you already have. And I let that influence me. I thought I was making an empowered decision, but all I did was let other people's opinions decide my future. A friend may want what's best for you, but that doesn't mean she knows what's right for you. In the end, marriage is between two people. Advice from others can be helpful, but it should never be the reason you make life-changing decisions. And now, I have to live with the consequences of a mistake I can never undo.
And so her story ends, or rather, a new chapter begins, one she never expected. When she walked out of the registry office, signing the divorce papers, she truly believed something better was just around the corner, waiting for her. It wasn't hard to imagine. A more attentive man, a more exciting life, maybe even that feeling of freedom that everyone on social media seemed to flaunt after leaving their marriages. She listened to her friends, saw the posts, and thought, why not me? I deserve more. The plan seemed perfectly leave behind what wasn't ideal and make room for the next chapter, the one that would finally make it all worthwhile. But real life doesn't follow a movie script. The something better she imagined didn't magically appear. Instead, there were quiet nights, bills to pay alone, and that unshakable emptiness she couldn't quite explain. Meanwhile, her ex-husband, the one she thought wasn't good enough, moved on. Maybe he even found someone who appreciates the simple things she took for granted. And she found herself looking back, realizing that what she had before wasn't perfect, but it wasn't nearly as bad as it seemed in those impulsive moments. Look, I'm not against divorce. If you're miserable in a relationship, stuck in a situation that suffocates you, you should leave without hesitation. It's 1,000 times better than cheating or living a lie. But walking out of a marriage thinking the world outside is some amusement park full of endless opportunities and amazing experiences, that's pure foolishness. And this isn't just about men who get rich and decide to dump their wives for a younger model fall into the same trap. Both they and the women who divorce for this reason are people who, deep down, deserve to crash and burn. Because that's not bravery, that's delusion. It's believing the grass is always greener on the other side, without ever appreciating what's already in front of you. Her regret didn't hit her all at once, it crept in slowly. Like a weight she couldn't ignore, she thought divorce would be the beginning of a fairy tale. But reality doesn't hand out princes or automatic happy endings. Sometimes, what you already have is the closest you'll ever get to that, and throwing it away for a dream that doesn't exist can leave you with less than you started. So before you jump ship chasing some imaginary happily ever after, take a moment to consider what you're leaving behind. Because, in the end, life isn't about finding perfection, it's about making peace with what's already yours. And by the time she realized that, it was too late to turn back. I'll wrap up the video here, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic. Share your opinions in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I'll see you in the next one.